Hello and welcome. I welcome you today to this topic or to this lesson where we'll be looking at the first topic in history, that is Form 2. The first topic is the Iron Age in Central Africa, just as we started with Part 1, whereby we started with some of the definitions of different terms in this topic, Iron Age in Central Africa. So this time we are continuing with the part 2 of the same topic 1. So in this part we are going to look at the aspect of Iron Age sites in Central Africa. Iron Age sites in Central Africa. So this is another good topic, another good part that we are going to look at. So let us be together as we see these sites in Central Africa, Iron Age sites in Central Africa. Now, Iron Age sites, when we talk of a site, it is a place where archaeologists have dug and studied the artifacts left behind by Iron Age people. So we talk of archaeologists digging out some of the artifacts, and that place, therefore, is called the Iron Age site. So most of these Iron Age sites were located near valleys, hills, and swamps or water sources for a number of reasons. And what are these reasons? Number one, to carry out fishing activities in those areas like the valleys, the hills, the swamps, and the water sources. And not only that, they were also there to cultivate along the fertile shores. They were there to cultivate and also to graze their livestock on abundant green pastures. So those were some of the reasons why the Iron Age sites were located wherever they were located. And apart from that, they were also near hills for hunting and for defensive purposes. So the Iron Age people or the Iron Age sites were located in or near the hills for defense as well as for hunting. And also they were located in other places simply because they wanted to hunt animals easily by driving them into the muddy swamps. So we can also see to say they settled in the valleys for such reasons. And also they settled in those areas because they were well supplied with fresh water for domestic use. So in other places, Iron Age people, they chose those places for the reason that they wanted those places for fresh water. They had the fresh water for domestic use. And also the areas were good for transport. Those areas where they settled, they were also good for transport and communication, which means they were easily, for example, when we talk of rivers, they were using those rivers for transportation and communication as well. Now, we have looked at the those or why they chose those places, the places where they settled. We talk of the swamps, we talk of the near rivers or the hills or the valleys. So they settled there for various reasons that we have just looked at, for defense purposes, as well as maybe for fresh water to supply them so that they have abundant water in that area. Now, let us look at the in Malawi, these Iron Age sites. So in Malawi, we talk of Mkope Bay and Popo. Mkope Bay and Popo. And in Zambia, there is Kalambo Falls as well as Ingombe Irede, Kalambo Falls and Ingombe Irede. And in Zimbabwe, there is Gokomere and Ziwa, Gokomere and Ziwa. So these are 6 sites that we'll look in detail. Now, mind you, there are not only these 6 sites. There were also a number of Iron Age sites in Zambia, Malawi, as well as Zimbabwe. But here we'll just look at these 6 places like Popo and Nkobe Bay in Malawi, and Gokomere and Ziwa in Zimbabwe, Kalambo Falls and Ingombe Irede in Zambia. So these are the only ones that we're going to look at, but there are not only these, there were also many others in there. Now, let us look at the map here. I have the map that is showing Iron Age sites in Central Africa. You can see Kalambo Falls, Popo Hill, that is Malawi here, and Zambia. If you talk of Zambia, is all this area, and Zimbabwe is this area, and our Malawi is here. So we talk of Popo Hill, to the northern part of Malawi, and we have our Lake Malawi. We have Nkobe Bay down Lake Malawi here, and there is Zambezi River, and down in Zimbabwe here we see Ziwa and Gokomere here. Kalambo Falls in Zambia is somewhere here, and also Ingombe Irede somewhere here. So we see these the places, or the map showing all those places in Zambia, in Central Africa. Now, let us look at the Iron Age sites in Malawi. So here I have a table where we look at these Iron Age sites in Malawi. So we talk of Popo Hill. So the location of Popo is about 24 kilometers west of Rumpi Boma near Lake Kazuni, and it was occupied between 3rd and 4th centuries. 3rd and 4th centuries, that is between 200 and 300 AD. 200 and 300 AD. On the findings, the archaeologists they have found a lot of things there, a lot of artifacts. For example, channeled pottery, the heaps of iron slags, bones of fish, game and shell discs, and beads, grinding stones, bones of domesticated animals, imprinted dagger, all those. And what about the activities? We see pot making, because there was a channeled pottery there, iron smelting because of iron slugs, fishing and hunting because of fish bones, and long distance trade because they found the shell discs there, and farming because they found the grinding stone, and also the taming of animals or building of huts because they found the domesticated bones of domesticated animals and imprinted dagger, the parts of the remains of the houses there. That is Popo Hill. And in Nkobe Bay, the location is 40 kilometers north of Mangochi Boma, and that one it was occupied between 4th to 8th century, between 360 and 775 AD. Those were the years in between when Nkobe Bay was occupied, and the bones of fish have been found, bent beans found, and these they suggest that there was farming. There was farming as well as fishing there because of the presence of the bones. Now, again, there at Nkobe Bay, we continue looking at the things that were found. They found pottery similar to Ziwa and Gokomere, which suggests that they were maybe trading with Zimbabwe, and glass beads also suggest the long distance trade, or also iron ores suggest that they were iron smelting or farming, and also copper suggests that they were trading with Zimbabwe. And as I already said, in Malawi, there were also other sites. For example, there was Maudzu, Mbande Hill, Nkalonga, Mavalambo, and Mwamasapa. All these were other Iron Age sites, but mainly we have focused on two. So you have to take note there that there were many Iron Age sites in Malawi, but we have only focused on two. That is Popo Hill in Rumpi, as well as in Kope Bay in Mangochi. And we have seen the activities there, the suggested activities, because of the artifacts that have been found there. Now, let us look at the Iron Age sites in Zambia. The Iron Age sites in Zambia. Number one, we have Kalambo Falls. Kalambo Falls, it seemed to have been occupied twice between the 4th and the 14th century. So the archaeologists, they have established that maybe in the 4th century, people were there and they abandoned the place. And later on in the 14th century, they came back and settled also in that area. And Kalambo Falls was on the border between Zambia and Tanganyika, that is Tanzania. And what are the discoveries and the activities? We see iron slugs and ashes. We suggest iron smelting, grinding stones, suggest farming and decorated pottery or dimple pottery. We see that one suggesting pot making in Kalambo Falls. The second one in Zambia is Ingombe Ilede. Ingombe Ilede. So literally, Ingombe Ilede, it means where cattle lie. Where cattle lie. And this one, it was occupied in the 14th and 15th centuries. In the 14th and 15th centuries. That is between 1300s and 1400. That is the period. So it was discovered on the confluence of the Kafue and Zambezi rivers not far from Kariba Dam. So take note that a confluence is a place where two rivers meet. So that's just where the Ingombe Ilede Iron Age site was discovered in Zambia, where Kafue and Zambezi river meet. So this is very important Iron Age site in Zambia and as well as in Central Africa because it contained the large number of trade items and iron implements in its 46 graves. So take note there that there were 46 graves that were discovered there at Ingombe Ilede. So Ingombe Ilede was an important trade center and it laid on the trade route from the east to West Africa, and it was probably the richest burial site in Central Africa. So take note, we have talked of 46 graves, but also archaeologists, they are suggesting that maybe it was the richest because it was on the trade route that connected the East Africa and West Africa. Now, what were the discoveries at Ingombe Ilede? So some of the discoveries included copper, ivory, cowrie shells, imported cotton cloth, glass beads, wooden amulets of Islamic origin, cross-shaped ingots, and all these, they suggest that these people at Ingombe Ilede, they embarked on long distance trade. And they also found the hammers, the necklaces, iron bangles, iron hose, and gongs, bows, pots, and needles. And all these, they suggest that the Iron Age people at Ingombe Ilede, they were iron smelting. Iron hose also suggests that these people were farmers. And human skeleton, they suggest that the people there, they settled there at Ingombe Ilede, suggest settlement. So the people at Ingombe Ilede, they exchanged ivory and copper for foreign items. So they're exchanging ivory as well as copper which they used to acquire or to get foreign items that we have just seen there. So the copper ingots were used as the trading currency. So they were using the copper itself as the currency, just as we use the money today, the coins. So their coins by then, it was a copper. So it also suggests it is suggested that people of Ngombe Ilede used salt to exchange it for ivory and slaves from the neighbors. So they were also using salt to exchange it for ivory and the slaves from the neighbors. So they were doing all that type of trade. And in Zambia, we see other sites as well, which included Kalomo and Machiri Forest. Kalomo and Machiri Forest. Now, we have looked at the Iron Age sites in Zambia. So, we have looked at Kalambo Falls and also Ingombe Irede. So, take note on Ingombe Irede because we have seen a lot of things there and even archaeologists, they have suggested that it was the richest in Central Africa because they discovered about 46 graves there and also many things or many items that were originated from elsewhere that are not found there in Zambia today. Therefore, that suggests long distance trade with other places. And we have also said that it also this Ingombe Irede, it connected the East and West Africa, so it was on the trade route. So take note of that. Now, let us look at the Iron Age sites in Zimbabwe. Iron Age sites in Zimbabwe. Number one, we are going to look at Gokomere. Gokomere. So it was located in central Zimbabwe, north of Zimbabwe ruins. Zimbabwe ruins. So it was occupied between the 2nd and the 9th centuries. It was occupied between the 2nd and the 9th centuries. What were the discoveries there at Ingombe, at Gokomere? So we look at the discoveries as well as the activities. So archaeologists there, they have found grooved and stamped channeled pottery similar to East Africa. That one suggests that these people at Gokomere in Zimbabwe, they were making pots or trading with East Africa because their pottery was similar to that of East Africa. And the beads, they suggest long distance. Why? Today, they don't make beads there, so it was traded from outside. So that's why it is suggesting their long distance trade. And also clay furnaces. Clay furnaces were also discovered there, which means that those people embarked on iron smelting. Iron smelting. And cattle bones were also found there, which suggests that the people there, they were keeping cattle. And human bones of the Bushmen or the Bosco type, it suggests that those bones, therefore, people settled there at Gokomere. The second Iron Age site in Zimbabwe is Ziwa. Ziwa. So it was found in eastern Zimbabwe. We have said that Gokomere, it was in central Zimbabwe, while Ziwa, it was in eastern Zimbabwe, and it was occupied between the 14th and 9th and the 10th century. So you can see there, it is also suggests that maybe people settled there and moved out and came back later and settled in the same place. So what were the discoveries and the activities at Ziwa? So we see archaeologists, they have found pottery, decorated pottery, which suggests that they were making pots, that is pottery, and the remains of copper working, which suggests that they were trading with Zambia, or else they were mining themselves there at Ziwa. And cattle bones, they suggest that they were keeping cattle. These people were keeping cattle there at Ziwa. Other Iron Age sites in Zimbabwe include Leopard Kopjes. There was Leopard Kopje 1, 2, and 3, and the Great Zimbabwe. All these, they are also Iron Age sites where archaeologists have also discovered many items there. So we have just looked at 2, but there were many in Zimbabwe. So we have also looked at the Iron Age sites in Zimbabwe. So take note of that, there were 2. These two, you have to take note of them. Gokomere, which was in central Zimbabwe, as well as Ziva, which was also in eastern Zimbabwe. Now, you need to take extra care to master, or maybe to know for sure, the findings or the discoveries that were found at a particular Iron Age site, and the suggested activities on each and every discovery there, or the artifacts. That is where the trick is. You have to know what was discovered and what does it suggest. If there was iron, suggest maybe they were mining, or else they were trading with other people. So take note of whatever we have found there, whatever we have studied or discussed there. Now, let us look at the use of archaeological findings, or the artifacts. So the artifacts, they help to explain the ancient people, how the ancient people looked like. And they also determine the lifestyles of people by observing the artifacts which were found. Not only that, they reveal about the material culture of the ancient people. And also, they tell us about the materials that the ancient people they were using in the past. That is the material culture we are talking about. And also, they are used to determine time in history through carbon-14 dating. So we see the importance of the archaeological findings there. We see that they are able to tell us more about the past, like how the people were looking like. Yeah, so there you need to take very good good caution there to say what is the significance of the artifacts at the archaeological sites. So we have seen there that the artifacts, they help us to know maybe even how the ancient people were looking like. By studying maybe the artifacts, we are able to suggest the activities that the Iron Age people were doing, like the culture. What was the culture of the people? If we find the pieces of walls, we can automatically suggest that these people were farmers here, but we cannot even find, or maybe sometimes we can not find the crops that they were growing, but just finding the pieces of walls, we can suggest, oh, these people were farming. So that is also another part which you need to take note of, to say the archaeological or artifacts, those ones, they are very important to us because they tell us more about what happened in the past or the culture of the people. Now, what made the sites to have similar artifacts? That is another good question that we need to answer. Why the artifacts were similar in different Iron Age sites? So number one, it suggests that they were embarking on long distance trade. So trade meant to exchange trade items under barter system of trade. So the type of trade that was there, even that long distance trade we're talking about, it was about exchanging of items. That is barter system. And also the items were similar because of common area of origin, because maybe the people had the common area of origin. All the sites were occupied, inhabited by people with common origin or background. So we can see there that it can have the similar artifacts, since the people, they had a common background. Others, they just migrated from one place to the other. And here we are talking of migration, to say people moved from one place to another because of trade and settlement. So as people migrated, therefore, they transferred also the ideas, including the artifacts or the materials which they were using. Hence, we have similar artifacts in different Iron Age sites. And not only that, we are saying that this brought interaction among the migratory groups and made some share skills and the practices. So as they were migrating, they were sharing the ideas and the skills on how to do different things. And also, the artifacts are similar because of intermarriages. So because of intermarriages, Iron Age skills were at clan level. So intermarriages therefore exposed people of different clans or tribes to different skills and practices, hence similarities. So as people intermarried, therefore, they were able to exchange even the skills or ideas. Hence, we see the similarities in the artifacts. So there, it's also another thing you have to take note to say, why are the artifacts similar from one place to the other, or one Iron Age site to the other? So we have looked at the reasons there to say sometimes it was because of trade, because of migration, because of intermarriage. All those, they can be the factors that led to the similarities in artifacts. As people interacted, as people migrated, they were able to exchange the Iron Age skills. Another good question that we need to answer now is, what made some sites to have different or more artifacts than others? So the way we have looked at, if you go back and see, you will see that other Iron Age sites, they had many artifacts, while others, they had few. So what made that differences? Number one, Iron Age skills were based on clan levels and were hidden to others. So some knowledge or skills, they were just at clan level. Therefore, that clan, they were able to do and preserve their skills on their own. Hence, others, they did not know what was happening on the other side. And also location, size, and population limited some sites to have more materials and resources for the abundant production of items. So here we are saying that location also prompted other people not to have the materials which others had, or the size or the population also limited the people to have the other materials. Hence, they were unable to have other items that other people had. And exposure to trade. So some skills, some sites like Ingombe Irede were great centers of trade and therefore attracted more people and items into the area than others. So we have looked at Ingombe Irede. Remember, we said Ingombe Irede, it was on a trade route connecting the East and West Africa. Therefore, they were able to have more items, just as it is today when we see maybe those towns like in Malawi, the towns that are located maybe along the M1, you find that they are more developed than the towns that are away from the M1, the main road of Malawi. You find that they are more developed. Why? Because in the M1, that is the main route where the main route that connects maybe even countries international. We talk of towns like Kalonga. You find that Kalonga is more developed than Rumpi, or maybe than other towns, or than Kadabe, that is in the north. So why Kalonga? Because the road M1 just passes through that road, that district or that town. Therefore, Kalonga is prone to be developed because of the trade route or the M1. So that's what we are talking of Ingombe Ilede here. So we have seen here the why other items or other Iron Age sites, they had more items than others. So we have seen the reasons there to say some were exposed or some were limited or some because of their population it was too small or their geographical location they were unable to have abundant artifacts than other sites. So in here we have looked today on the Iron Age sites in Central Africa. So we have looked at mainly 6 sites in Africa, in Central Africa. Starting from Malawi, we have looked at 2 Popo Hill and Nkobebe. And in Zambia, we have looked at Kalambo Falls as well as Ingombe Irede. While in Zimbabwe, we have looked at Ziwa and Gokomere. So these are the main Iron Age sites that you have to know in Central Africa. But also take note of the items that the archaeologists have found in these sites, and take note also the suggested activities towards those artifacts. And if you know those things, then you are very safe on that. So next time we are also going to proceed to look at the same topic, but this time around we are going to look at the major socio-economic and political activities associated with the Iron Age sites in Central Africa. Major social, economic and political activities associated with the Iron Age sites in Central Africa. So this is a continuation. It will be a continuation of the same topic, Iron Age sites in Central Africa. So until that next time, thank you so much and take good care.
Simutaya nthawi yanu kufunafuna maphunziro muzakhala wotumidwa moyo wanu wonse. Ngati simuphunzira anthu azingokutumani ajala kalime ajala kuchwe manyazi ajala katende yanti ndipo anthu ophunzira wandu wotumanso kwambiri. Ndiye ngati simuphunzira skulu akuyikirani apa mukhala otumidwa.